ready to go, guys. All right. It is fun. It is time, guys, to talk about expired listings. As Ed shared earlier, he eats expired listings for lunch, and I love that. And so we're going to dive in, guys, to all things expired over the next, 45, 50 minutes here. We're sharing from our panel. Janie is going to lead us in kind of a really solid training, guys, on the basis and really getting started with this stuff. But before that, let's do around the horn real quick. Let's do Janie. Go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll go around.
Hey, yep. Hi, my name is Janie Coffey. I'm the co-chair of the luxury division here at eXp Luxury, who's your host for today's Elevate Success Conference. And I'm super excited to share with Ed, Wendy, and Tina when she joins us about all the variety of ways that you can be massively successful in luxury expireds.
All right. Love it. Ed, go for it, buddy.
Hey, good day. This is Ed Kaminsky down in Southern California, active agent for 37 years and also co-chair on the eXp Luxury Council and utilizing the tools at eXp Luxury to help get a lot of high-end listings. And so hope to share some of those concepts and tips in the expired world today for you.
Love it. Wendy.
Hi, I'm Wendy Goff in Las Vegas, and I've been in real estate almost 20 years. Just tapped into luxury last September, so I'm super excited to share my success with it so far. Absolutely love it. So stay tuned.
Awesome. All right, guys. Janie, do you have a screen share, or are you just going to go?
Yeah, no,
love it. We're going to get the screen share up and going, guys.
I love it.
Janie and I live in a world where we're always doing slides. And so we'll pull that up, get your screen share up, guys, and then we are going to take off. So here's how this works, guys. Throughout this workshop or this mastermind, go ahead in the chat and go ahead and put in your questions in there, and I'll grab those. And so we'll have them during the Q&A session part. And so let's get rolling. All right, Janie, you're on.
Awesome. So I'm going to go super fast as always because we've got a lot to convey. And like Jeremy said, I'm going to give you the foundations of not only expires, but specifically luxury expires. And then we'll move to our panel because the four of us have all really mastered luxury expires, but in 3 different, or maybe even 4 different ways. And we want to show you there's many ways to create success in the luxury expired space. So hosted by your eXp Luxury Division, we are super excited to have all of our guests with us on our proven tactics for expired luxury listings. Before we do, though, we want to celebrate this. We have just now reached 3,000 active registrants in our Elevate series, which we host open to all agents, all backgrounds, all brokerages, every single 4th Wednesday of the month on some topic specific to luxury real estate. So please stay in touch. We are super excited. 3,000 is a big milestone for us, and we're super psyched to do this with you. So before we start, I just wanted to talk about for a second why luxury expires and what is luxury even, because if you are not yet selling in the Diego and LA and Hawaii and Miami, and that's not the case at all. The Institute of Luxury Home Marketing designates the top 10% as luxury. So if you go into your MLS and you search back the last
Janie,
6 months.
I'm sorry, real quick. It looks like your slides are not showing. Just FYI.
Oh, my slides aren't showing?
You may have to retry it there.
I see them.
You see them?
There's a whole bunch of people that are saying they can't see them. So I wonder.
Maybe how they have the screen choice.
I can do it so you don't see.
Oh, there it is. I see it. If you guys, you have to swap your screen.
Maybe you can pin that, Jeremy. You can just.
I'm working on it right now.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
So everybody has luxury in their area. It might be 750,000 in your area. It might be 20,000 or 20 million in your area. Just go to your MLS. Search for the sold properties for the last 6 months, sort them by price point, and just scroll up to the top 10%. That's where luxury is. And I say that because a lot of people psych themselves out and think they don't have luxury, and they might not have 20 million, but they might have 750, maybe even 500,000 for your area. So that's just a quick tip so that you don't psych yourself out before you've even started. But why specifically luxury expireds? First of all, they're back. Anybody who's been in real estate for a while knows that they were really lean back in the big big years, 2021, 2022, when the market was crazy, there was very few, if any, expireds, but they have really started to stack back up, which is super exciting for us who use expireds specifically as the backbone of our business. And it's such a huge springboard. Like Wendy said, she has been in real estate for 20 years and never really worked the luxury space. And we're going to hear a little bit later from her how she's used that as a springboard to list, I think she said 5 or 6 luxury listings, not even in the past year, using the expired system. Me, I started over in a brand new market where I didn't know a single soul. And within 2 years, I was in the top 10 of my entire MLS with luxury expired. So the reason is there's lower competition. There's fewer people going after luxury expireds than regular expireds or even regular properties because fewer people feel comfortable in that space. And that's what we want to show you, that with the right tools, with the right mindset, with the right confidence and the right understanding, you can basically cut through and make a clear and easy path for you to excel because there's so few people actually chasing luxury expireds. The next reason is you have much more committed sellers. If a luxury listing comes on the market for the first time ever, and Ed and I and many of our seasoned luxury listing agents understand it's tough the first time a luxury listing comes on the market because normally sellers have a really elevated version of what they think their home is going to sell for. And it can become really painful and challenging to get to the sold table. By the time they've expired 1, 2, maybe even 3 times, they're already kind of over their pie in the sky pricing. And now they're really ready to get down to actually selling. So to me, it's a much easier process to actually go from listed to sold because they've already kind of gotten rid of that. And now they're ready to listen to an agent rather than just their wishful wants of what they think their house might sell for. 2 or 3, it's easier to enter the market. And what I mean by that is when a luxury seller is first going to list their house, they often already know who they want to list with, or they know the top 2 or 3 agents they want to interview. And that's often the well-known agents out there or the agents who have marketed themselves very, very well. But when you are going after luxury expireds, it's to me a lot easier to enter as an agent who maybe doesn't have that top tier status recognition yet in the market, because now they're just really willing to listen and to see what you have to do to market their home properly, and to get it exposed out there. So for me, it's a lot easier. Like I said, I would not have been able to break into a brand new market if I didn't use luxury expireds to get me there, because now they're willing to try something different. Of course, with the NAR settlement, a lot of us are thinking, how can we grow our listing base a little bit more, our listing inventory? So everything aside, luxury or expireds, growing your listing inventory should be a key thing for your business plan for the rest of 2024. This is going to be one of the easier ways you can do that. And then the final thing of why luxury expires, luxury expired sellers often take longer from when a property expires to when they actually list again, whether that's with the previous agent, which they do sometimes, or with a new agent. They normally take a little bit longer, and that gives you, the agent, that much more opportunity to get in front of them, whether it's with prospecting like Ed and Tina do, or it's with mailing, which is what Wendy does, I believe, and what I kind of built my whole business on. You've got more runway to get in front of them and really demonstrate your commitment, your value, and what you're going to do differently. Did we sort the slides out, Jeremy, so they can now see?
I think it's just the slide view. I think everybody's got it now, I believe.
Okay, got it. If it's just a slide view, then I'll scooch back over because I thought I had put it so that you could see my face too. Okay.
Yeah.
So next thing is, how do you even find these luxury expireds? You can do it the old-fashioned way, which is just to go into your MLS every single day and find out what expired the day before. But you can also use certain systems. My preference is Vulcan 7, but it is kind of like the Cadillac of systems. It's a little bit more costly. There's other systems, RedX, Onyx, there's at least 3 or 4 of them. So I would look into one of those systems. And why do you want a system versus just using the MLS? There's lots of reasons. One, it's going to give you contact information right in the system. Two, it'll update every day. So you see if somebody has relisted, because then you don't want to keep chasing them. It allows you to stay organized with your prospecting and your lead gen and your follow-up with the expires. It just makes everything very, very easy. So you definitely are going to want to consider using one of those. So again, methods. So Ed is going to talk to us and Tina is going to talk to us about active prospecting, actually getting on the phone and calling these expired listings, whether it's the day they expired or potentially a week later, a month later, even several months later. And we'll talk about that too. That's the first way. And that's mostly what people think of expireds, but there's other ways as well. Some people prefer to drop off a package, like on the very first day, they make a very nice package, a compelling package that might trigger somebody to reach back out to them. Then we might have a short mailing campaign where you mail them something and maybe mail them a few other things. And then we have what I created, which is a very long mailing campaign where over the course of 2 to 3 months, they get multiple different kind of touch points from me. The reason I prefer the long mailing campaign is by the time they call, they're normally sold and they're like, hey, just come over and list my property. Like, I'm sold, I get it, I'm ready to go. So those are 4 different ways based on your personality, your skill set, your interests. And we're going to get into that when we get into the panel session, which I'm super excited to talk about. Like I also mentioned, looking back, like, don't just look at who expired yesterday or who expired last week. Go into your system, whether it's your MLS or your Vulcan 7 or Red X, and look who expired 3 months ago, who expired 6 months ago, a year ago. I would even be, let's see, we're in 2024. I would probably be looking at who expired in 2022, especially towards the end of 2022, because as the markets ramped up in 21, early 2022, a lot of sellers kind of jumped on that bandwagon thinking, oh, my neighbor sold for, 3 million. I should definitely sell for 4 million. And then the market softened. They didn't sell, but they might still be thinking, is it time to sell? Maybe I'm ready to sell now. So going back months and years back might be a really good gold mine of expired potential for you that nobody else is mining. So don't forget or don't think that you can't go back. I think it's often easier, and they're often also less grumpy than a brand new, freshly expired listing. So what are sellers looking for? Sellers for luxury listings, they're looking for world-class materials. Everything has to look really, really great, from whatever you're putting in front of them in the start to actually generate the appointment, whether that's a mailing, an email, whatever it is, it has to look world class and really connect with them. Then they're looking for, how are you going to have world class reach? So once you get that listing appointment, you have to demonstrate how you're what is your reach and what are you going to do differently? That's what they always ask. What are you going to do differently than their last agent or their last 2 or 3 agents or the other agents they might be speaking with right now? And then finally, they want to be kept informed. Often what we hear with sellers of expired listings is they weren't kept informed. And there's a lot of information we need to be sharing with them. We need to be sharing the marketing that we're actually doing for their listing, the feedback that we're getting from the agents. And this you should be doing with any listing, but especially expired sellers. And then what else is going on in the market? Meaning, what other homes have come on the market? What other homes have gone pending? What other properties have expired? What properties have sold? So keeping them informed is one of the most important things we need to do to nurture those sellers. And what kind of eyeballs are we getting on the property and on the listing? So what are we getting, what we call Casper showings, where people have looked online at the property. They haven't come in person yet, but being able to show and demonstrate, we're getting this many views on Zillow and this many people looked from the Wall Street Journal, and this many people looked from Robb Report and things like that. So they start to see we are doing everything possible to market and sell their house. And if you convey it the right way, they start to understand if it's not selling, if it's not getting enough showings, if it's not getting offers, it's the price, because price is always the great equalizer. But they're never convinced of that until they see the backup of everything you're doing and the results that are coming back. So those are the three things that you really need to focus on that becomes a little harder, or you need to do more mindfully the higher you go up in price point, because it's not just a quick sale like it often is in the more, let's call it, bread and butter properties. The next thing is, if you have a niche, I would definitely make a whole second version of your expired packet around that lifestyle niche. That could be equestrian, that could be golf or waterfront or skiing or whatever that is, because as we go up in price point, a lot of our properties are lifestyle properties. It might not even be their main home. It might be their second home or their third home. And to tailor your marketing around that lifestyle really makes them feel, oh my gosh, I finally found the person who understands my property and convey the benefit of my property back to the buyers in a way that my previous agent didn't. And that could include special publications, that could include special listing distribution sites. So when I market equestrian properties, I use horseproperties.net as a website that I put my property on. For sailing, I use, I think it's called waterfrontproperties.com. For historic homes, I use circaoldhouses.com. So just showing them that you get in front of other things besides even the Wall Street Journal, the Robb Report, or whatever those things are that you're using. You're doing things special to their home. Also, when you have a lifestyle niche, now you have a shared passion with the people who are selling that property, and they understand that you're going to be able to convey that back to the potential buyers, because people line up with people who share something passionate around their hobby, their lifestyle, their interest. It just makes it such a win-win for everybody, and they will seek you out. They will absolutely seek you out. And then you've got built-in connections already where you can say, yes, you have a waterfront property that you want to list with a dock that allows a boat with this length or depth. Well, guess what? I'm at the yacht club and I have all these connections of people in my own community that now I'll be able to market it to. So really think about how you can create a whole suite of expired marketing tools to get the listing opportunity and then to market it around a niche or a lifestyle. Then I hear people say, well, what about experience? I haven't sold luxury before. This makes me nervous. I'm scared. You can very easily talk in us. This is what we do. This is what we do. Our team, my team. Even if you don't have a team, you can partner up with somebody in your brokerage for your first few transactions. If you do the work and you go out and get the listing opportunities and the expired listing opportunities, I promise you that somebody at your brokerage is going to be willing to partner up with you for your first 2 or 3 to go on the listing appointment, win the listing, and then service that listing and close. And you can do it, 50-50, but they'll be very happy to do that. And then when you have that success, now you can start to create your case studies of your successfully sold expired case studies. And what I like to do with that is make postcards where I say, this is what it was. This listing was listed, 3 times before me. How did I assess it? I realized it needed to be staged. Whatever that, what did we do? We actually had it staged. We freshened up the landscaping. And what was the results? Sold in 32 days at whatever. And when you start to use those case studies, that can become a part of what you send out to potential expired listing opportunities, as well as what you can take on your listing presentation to show them that this is what you do. This is what you're a specialist at. And then the final kind of benefits that I find of listing expired is the neighbors are often looking at these houses that have not sold. And sometimes they've expired 1, 2, 3 times before you come along. And then when the neighbors see that you successfully sold that, they become raving fans of you. They're like, oh my gosh, nobody else could sell that, but Ed did. Oh my gosh, nobody else could sell that, but holy cow, Tina or Wendy came along and they sold it. That really elevates you that much faster to that go-to agent, especially that go-to agent with really special properties. And then your seller becomes even more of a raving fan of you. And because you've been able to sell it when their previous agent or agents didn't. And often luxury sellers have multiple properties. So if you win them over on what was their toughest thing, they then start to use you for all their future properties and tell their friends and family about it for great referrals. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, our super overview of why you really want to consider luxury expireds if you haven't already. And now we're going to get into the panel section with Ed and Tina and Wendy and Jeremy, and we can each share a little bit about our own completely different versions of how we've done it. So I'm going to stop sharing and then we'll go from there.
Awesome. What great content. All right, guys. So we got Tina on. I'm so excited. It's a journey sometimes around here, guys, but we finally get it all knocked out. All right, guys. We're going to go around the horn a little bit. Ed, let's start with you, buddy. That I know because you eat. I mean, you said you eat expired for lunch, so that's a pretty big statement. So share a little bit about kind of what you do and what maybe is differential. What you do is different than everybody else.
Well, I spoke about it in the chat, and I think there are many different approaches, and I don't know that Janie touched on it, but she is amazing at building the opportunities through direct mail campaigns and had a lot of success around that. And it's the one thing I didn't use. So that's why, each market's different, each agent is different in how you approach it. I like old fashioned picking up the phone and having a conversation. I feel that diving into the problem that existed with the sale of the home with the client and really understanding that problem was the one thing I've learned after doing this for a long time is how to discover the issue. Why did the home not sell? Most of the time it's price. It's not always price, but most of the time it is. And I focus on, I think, three of the things, I wrote down more, but three of the things that Janie mentioned, which is price, showing condition, and the marketing plan. When those three things align, the home will sell. And so my favorite question to ask a seller is what caused your home not to sell? And I love when they answer, well, my agent said the market's slow, and my agent said interest rates are high, agent said the location's not ideal, it's on a busy street. Those are things that are not in the control of the seller, therefore they are not a cause for a property not selling, in my perspective. And this is what I explain to sellers. I said, we have to look at what is in your control. And when we discover what's in your control, we can then fix the problem. And so what's in your control is the price you set on the home, how the home shows, and how the home is marketed. And because it's in your control because you decide who you're going to hire and how they're going to execute that plan. Then you better be able to deliver the most amazing marketing plan that is different than the other agent had done or other agents are presenting, because this is a competitive environment to go into, because there are hundreds of people soliciting these sellers at a time. Some of them are really good agents and some of them are really bad agents. But I will tell you, the good news is most expired listings are being approached by a lot of the less expired agents or less experienced agents, because the agents that are really successful, they don't prospect. They work their past clients or sphere of influence. And if they're going to be on that listing appointment against you, it's because they were referred in or that seller reached out to them. So you can go in comfortably marketing to these expired listings, knowing you're not going to be hitting up against the best of the best, unless you're in Manhattan Beach, then watch out. Just kidding.
He's not kidding.
He's not kidding at all, by the way.
No.
He will eat you for lunch. He'll do his best to anyway. And that's okay. I like that. A little healthy competition, right? But guys, those are great tips, guys, he just shared. I mean, honestly, is just focus on what you can control and helping the client understand what they have control of to get this property sold and what you can do the best at. So love those tips, guys.
Just to finalize that thought, right? How impactful price is, because we're all afraid about telling the seller the truth. I said there are three things. If they align, it'll sell. But guess what? If the other two don't align, it's an ugly house and it's a shitty marketing campaign, but you have it priced really well, it's still going to sell. So price will fix anything.
I love it, man. All right, Tina, lay into all your greatness.
Oh gosh. Well, first of all, I got to say, Janie, that was such a great presentation. I mean, I was taking notes and I couldn't get on as the panelist, but I loved it. You always do such a great job with the tactical knowledge that you share. And Ed and I mean, we're just proof. Janie is great at doing it how she did it. Wendy, the same thing. Like Ed and I were raised in the Mike Ferry organization, so we didn't care luxury, not luxury. A house is a house is a house, and we're going to use the same process every time. And the thing that you have to think about is consistency is key. It's handling objections. It's coming in. You're the second or third agent. The sellers, I love expireds because they're so beat down. They're just disappointed. Some are stubborn as hell, and the first agent actually ran away from them. So we have to also be very mindful of, is this a seller that I do want to work with or not? Because it could be an agent that was great, that did great marketing, that tried to price it right, just wasn't strong enough, like Ed said, to really get the seller to understand. And so you have to remember, the expired wants to be led. It's a strategic partnership. They want to be led, and you kind of got to be a little more bossy to get them to the right path and tell them the truth. It's all about handling objections. Ed knows I love to have conversations too, because the conversations are usually the exact same, and you become very masterful at having the exact same conversation. And, the other thing I would say is, the luxury division has put out some beautiful collateral. I just saw the buyer. Where did it go? I don't know. You guys
You
can't
won't be able to see it. It's white labeled.
but the buyer presentation is amazing. And if you look at some of the words that you use, I would say go to that buyer presentation. They have changed the words to some of the like the representation agreement. You've got bespoke services, compensation framework. Instead of saying my commission, elevate all of your words if you're going to be working with luxury. So I would run to our luxury division and grab the buyer guide, the seller guide. They're beautiful. We're like taking all of that wonderful collateral and updating our presentations. But yeah, I would just say that calling to me is efficient. Calling is the first way that you can get your foot in the door. If you're in Canada, I'm sorry, guys, your people up there can't do those calls. So you have to think about it differently, and you have to use a direct mail campaign. So that's why Janie's here and other agents, so you guys can ebb and flow and do it differently. I happen to love the phones because I get control of that conversation. I get to dive deep, and I get to give them, that 30-second to 2-minute pitch of why they should potentially use me, and create doubt. My job is to create doubt that their agent or other company might have missed something. So I just want to reevaluate and reassess. So there isn't anything magic, just doing it consistently.
I think consistency is one of the keys that agents struggle with the most, in my opinion, of coaching agents for the years I have. And honestly, if we can figure out that consistency down, you're just going to get more deals. It's just how it is. All right, Wendy, share about. I know you are pretty much newer into this luxury space, and you have implemented. I think that's the key that most agents sometimes struggle with, is the implementation as well. So you implemented and you found success. So share a little bit about kind of what your story is, and let's kind of glean from that.
Okay, first, let me say how excited I am to be on a panel with Tina Call. Like, I'm going to try not to be giddy about this, but this is so exciting. Like, these are people I look up to. And I literally was on the panel, in the audience, asking questions like 7 months ago. Like, what do I wear? What do I drive? What do I say? What do I use? Like, how do I do this? Because I've been selling houses for almost 20 years, and I've been in the $300,000 to $500,000 price point. First-time home buyers. I love turning renters into buyers. Almost all of my clients are Jeep people. So we don't have money. We have Jeeps. We dump our money into Jeeps, right? So switching gears like this and going after luxury has been like a huge thing for me. So I went to, I think, a build event, and my friend Haley Jones, she's like, we're going to be luxury. We need to sign up for luxury. And I was like, I don't need luxury. It's fine. I'm selling 50 plus homes a year. I'm fine with where I'm at. I'm not a luxury agent. And when you guys said, all you have to do is send this amazing presentation out to expired luxuries, I went back to the computer. I pulled up Las Vegas, and I did $1 million. And everything that's expired over $1 million. There was 350 expired listings. I said, okay, I'm in. Let's go. We're doing this. So we signed up and we did the thing. And I've been sending out these amazing, upside down, these amazing presentations. Like, the presentation is super easy to make through eXp Luxury. Literally, you put the picture, you put the address, and you send it to your printer, and then you make these amazing books. So you send it out. We do it via FedEx in a branded envelope with the FedEx label, so it just hits their front door, right? We do 13 a week. And 13 is not my lucky number. My printer said I won't print anything under $50. So it takes 13 to spend $50 at his shop. So that's where the number came up with. But we have been doing it every week since September. And it took about 6 months. It didn't take about 6 months. I got a couple appointments and literally crashed. It is a totally different world out there, apparently, me driving around with my Jeep and my mobile she shed for staging is not going to cut it on a $10 million listing appointment. So you should probably know something about staging, right? So I was picking up all these things from all your guys' masterminds, trying to learn. I felt like a kindergartner, but after 6 months, I finally got in. I got a $12 million listing, $11.7 million listing. I sent out this 4-page soft touch brochure to all the neighbors, right?
All right, wait. Let me stop you for a minute because I'm going to get excited for you, okay? So what you did is you said, all right, I'm going to do it. And you started doing the small stuff, right? You started doing the boxes. You started doing the presentation folders. You got really in depth of how you're going to do this, right? You build it. And then you actually implement it. You send stuff out. And magic started happening, right? Yeah, did it take a little time? Sure. All good things come with a little bit of time. And it started working, right? And now you started getting leads in. And say again what listings you got again. I just want to, because your average was what before this?
300,000 to 500,000.
Okay. And then what were the new listings you got because of this presentation and the effort? And I'm gonna call it hustle. What the hustle was you put into this? What happened?
Yeah. So I got $12 million listing, luxury log cabin. So beautiful. And then I got 2 more in that neighborhood, 7 million and a 5 million, just from sending this out to the neighbors. And it feels amazing. So soft touch brochure, it's a hit. And then the QR code going to my amazing video. And I did notice a lot of people that have expired luxuries, they never even made a video of these amazing houses. So I go in there and I tell them, it's important to do video because I literally am going to tell the story about your home to the world. So I landed those ones there. I got a Lake Las Vegas 1.4 closing Friday. And then I got another 1.2 that I closed a few months ago and another 950. And I know these aren't over $1 million, 950, 850 high rise, but that's still double what I used to do. So
I love it. There's so many comments coming in, Wendy. And honestly,
triple, Wendy.
I know. Feels
really
good, doesn't it?
It gets me excited.
It is so exciting.
And the ones I'm seeing in the chat that gets me excited the most says, you make me feel like I can do this. Right. And I think when I'm on stage a lot. All these guys are usually on stage a lot, and we share these expertise and we share our thoughts and processes and stuff like that. And the what gets me the most out when people walk away saying, "Holy crap, I can actually do this." And it doesn't take work. Yes, it does. But you could ask Ed, you could ask Tina, you could ask Janie. It takes work, but with results will come that effort, guys. And so I love this. Janie, go for it.
I was going to say, what's that phrase? This takes work or this takes work. This is hard. This is hard. Pick your hard.
Yeah, hard now.
I would rather do Ed and Tina pick their hard with calling people.
I love it.
They're super successful. Wendy and I have picked our hard with a long-term mailing campaign or putting all this together, but it works. It's like pick your hard. It's a lot harder to not have success. It's a lot harder to not have the money to do the things you want to do or to pay the bills. That's really hard.
Or do both. Do both and
Right,
get
we
double
do-
the results.
We do both. We
Yeah.
definitely do both. I don't make the calls. I do have an ISA. She's amazing, but she doesn't make the calls until the FedEx package goes out, until we text, until we email. And then we also do real marketing. I don't know if you guys do real marketing, but
Great resource.
Amazing. And they let you feature your properties on there. So anyway,
I love it.
so we do all of that,
That's
and
awesome.
I think
There's
with all
so
of it
much.
combined,
There's so much in this, guys. And so let's take the next 5 minutes. Let's break this down a little bit because I want to get some detailed stuff out to agents so they can get started. So, for example, guys, if you guys would share kind of what your presentation, what's in that presentation, right? What does that look like? So, I mean, we all know we're in a relationship business, right? So, what can we do inside this presentation to start building that relationship pretty quickly? So, I know Ed, you probably have some kind of presentation you give. So, give me some insight of that a little bit.
So I use for my luxury listings, I use a box.
Love it.
It opens up. It's has a place for my resume, whatever we call that, and then whatever material I want to put in. So I'm putting in each box depending on the seller situation. But generally, the first thing I do is print the EXP Luxury Global Marketing piece that has their photo on it. I have my own personal marketing explanation of what we do to expose the property. I have my statistics in there. I have the information about the property profile, title report, everything to show that we've did a lot of research on the property. And so that's what goes in when I'm making an actual presentation to the seller. It's not something I would send out as a cold lead.
I love it. So you got this presentation down. So when you're meeting this person, you're going to put something in their hand, right? You're going to really kind of look eye contact with them and know your numbers, know what's going on, and be confident in going to the presentation. That's a big key. And
I will say that the most important part of this presentation is what I say, not what's in here.
I love it.
So don't get caught up on what you put in the box, or even if you have a box, it doesn't even matter. You can bring a piece of paper. But if you can be compelling in how you're presenting to the client and they're like, wow, I love this person, then you're going to win. So you'll adjust, you'll build, you'll change your mind, you'll find something that works and doesn't work. Don't get caught up too much in what it is. Janie's going to talk about what she mails, but every time I hear Janie speak about it, I hear the noise in the audience, like, okay, can I see it? And what is it? And you know what? It doesn't matter. It's ultimately getting it in their hands, doing this consistently and a lot, and then really working on your presentation is what gets it. Who are you being when you walk in that front door? Who do they see? Do they see someone who's confident, excited, enthusiastic, has a plan that can execute the plan and can talk about specifics in the plan that's exciting and compelling to the client, and can analyze the price properly and help them understand why the price needs to be where it is, and then price it there and then sell it.
I want to say real quick, because before Janie goes and shows you all the magical things, I am like the epitome of what Ed was talking about. I don't even send a box. I'm too lazy. I'm just going to be honest. I'm too lazy. I had too many things going on and a lot of expireds and other things and FSBOs. And so for me, it was literally what Ed said. It's the presentation. It's the words we say. When we said create doubt, it's the script that we use. Ed and I probably have I could probably finish his sentence if I say, hi, thank you so much for having me over. I'm excited about getting your home on the market. And more importantly,
getting it sold.
Getting it sold. We know the same script. Ed and I could go to Ed's town and compete against Ed. I know exactly what Ed's going to say. Maybe a few different lines that he uses. He's got. Yeah, there is a way. There.
I said stay away.
Oh, stay away. But here's the thing. He uses the fancy boxes. I was too cheap to use them because he's listing $12 million, $20 million homes. I'm listing $900,000, $700,000, $1 million homes. I didn't have the budget to do that, and therefore I didn't. So both of us use the same presentation, which is our words. And mine was just a little folder, and then, just with our little collateral pieces that we put in there. I didn't need to be so fancy. But Janie has a beautiful, whole package that Wendy's also using now, and it works. But either way, your presentation is how you show up, what you say, and the confidence that you can instill in the seller that they go, that lady or that guy is going to get me to the finish line. And that's really what they need, is the borrowed belief that you have the tools to get it done.
Oh, love it. Wendy, you want to share a little bit about, I know you shared a little bit, you showed some of the examples of stuff that you're doing. I love the presentation folder. I love that kind of stuff. You're doing the mailings out to them. Is there any particular timing year wise hitting these people? Like, are you hitting in the week that they got expired? Or are you hitting them, a couple days later? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So when we started, we went all the way back to 2 years and just made sure they didn't go back to market. And we went the old school way, went in the MLS, pulled up the things. So I have an amazing assistant. She's my sister. She loves me and loves this job. Anyway, but yeah, we just kind of went through and saw who didn't go back to market. We have an amazing expired luxury letter that basically says, I see your gorgeous home is no longer on the market. I would love the opportunity to show you what I do for my sellers, blah, blah, blah. Put that in with the presentation. And then I did sign up with Luxury Presence because I wanted to look luxury. Like I'm saying, all these things just make you look luxury. I am the opposite of luxury. I am a Jeep girl. I ride a Harley. I like jeans and boots. So having all of this really does help. And I know it is what you say, but it also, when I got to listing presentations and realized I already gave them the good stuff, right? I already FedExed the package. And then when they hand raised, I FedExed them my pre-listing guide, right? So that they can get to know me before I get there. And I got there and I was like, oh shit, I don't have anything for them to touch. So that's why I went into the marketing materials of eXp Luxury, and I contacted my videographer. I said, hey, I need luxury photos. How many can I buy? I'm using them for my presentations. I didn't have any, right? I didn't have any houses like that. So he sent me a whole bunch of amazing ones. And I built those flyers and I just said, 1, 2, 3, your luxury home, Las Vegas, Nevada, and I showed them. I'm like, so I don't just, send your neighbors a postcard. Like they're literally going to get stuff like this.
I
This
love it.
in your house, so now they have things to touch. When I got there, then once I started marketing the luxury listings, I had proof of success. I'm like, do you want to see how I got over 350,000 views on this home in 1 month? Yeah.
Love it.
Don't you wish you had
Small little things, guys.
Yeah.
Small
So
little
then
things that
that
make big
goes,
difference. I love it.
Yep. So it all kind of goes together and it gets better. Like every
I
time,
love it.
every time I do it, it's better.
Great job. I mean, I tell you what, that's the little stuff, guys. It's just it's showing off without showing off, right? You're showing them exactly what you're going to do, and getting their impression of it. So, all right, Janie. So you are the queen of this. So share some of your expertise, your knowledge on how to really get this thing started. Because I think that's the big key of this workshop is letting people understand that you can get started tomorrow on this stuff. And what does that look like?
Yeah, so like I said, I moved to a new market 8 years ago now, but I had a big, hairy, audacious goal to be in the top 10 of my MLS in 3 years. And I knew the only way I was going to do that was to be able to hit high price points. And I realized the way to do that, the fastest, shortest on-ramp to that is expireds. But because I was new to the market and I didn't have the sales, I chose to do a longer mailing campaign where I do mail out a nice package like what Wendy's doing. But I don't give away the farm in the package because I want them to call me. And then I send out a sequence of letters, postcards, things like that for a while, targeted to them. And that was very important for my success, targeted to them. And the thing that I think why I was so successful and I'm so successful in doing that is I just never gave up. They would continue to get things from me. And like I said, by the time they called me, they were normally like, okay, you've proved to me you have the consistency, the follow-up, the follow-through to list my house. And as Ed said, and then they'd say, just come over and list it. A lot less pushback on price, on terms, or anything like that, because I had shown them, I had pulled them with attraction to be like, you're the person who needs to do this for me. And as Ed said, there is no magic bullet, especially for getting the listing appointment. There's no magic letter, there's no magic postcard or anything like that, because a lot of it does actually go in the trash in the system that I do. It's really the consistency of them seeing me over and over and over. But each piece I mail or each piece I send out is hitting one pain point specific to expired sellers. And there's probably at least 10 of them. They get listing fatigue where they're just tired of being on the market and people asking them, hey, when's your house going to sell? They might have lost a property when they thought they were going to sell quickly and they had another house picked out and now they lost that and they're upset. Or they're frustrated that their agent didn't communicate very well with them, or they're frustrated that their agent didn't do great marketing for them, or they're frustrated that they always have to have kept the house nice and tidy. So each piece that I sent out kind of really drilled down on one of those things. And the reason I alternate letter, postcard, some people are very analytical and they want to read a letter. They want to read text. That's how their brain processes things. Some people are much more visual. They just want to see a quick image that kind of says, but that's how I got my appointments, different from the fellow panelists. And like you said, just to show off a few of the pieces, this is our very similar to Ed's box. This is EXP's luxury box that you can order through the luxury division, that you can drop your very nice presentation in here, hardcover presentation. And we have video pieces too. That's all. I see a lot of people in the comments asking where to get these pieces. We have sourced out in EXP's luxury division quite a few different vendors where we got samples, really tested it out, got specialized pricing and preferential pricing, like with Real Marketing or Luxury Presence. That's all in the luxury division. If you are at EXP and interested in joining the division, or if you're considering. Otherwise, there's lots of resources out there, but you do have to build that nice suite of tools that give people, you don't have to use these fancy boxes like Tina said. You know, if you're in a market that listings are 5, 10, 20 million, maybe you do. Maybe it's worth it to you to invest in that. But you do have to have a nice suite of tools, whether it's what you take to show how you're going to market their property, which we have through our dashboard in our division, or it's from your own brokerage. If you're not at EXP, what does your brokerage offer for premium listing distribution? That's how you're going to be able to show them how you're going to be able to get in front of the right buyers. But plan out your specific to you system, whether it's calling, whether it's mailing like Wendy does or mailing like I do, and then focus on it, really nail it, and then combine your listing presentation with your marketing plan so that you have that really nice piece to take to the actual presentation. And your confidence will build and blow up, like Wendy was saying, because she had great stuff to take and to show. It gives you so much confidence. And sellers of luxury properties want confident sellers. They don't want somebody who's, you know, I'm not talking arrogant or cocky, but they do want confident, because that's who they're used to dealing with in every other aspect of our life. And just our specific materials, or if your brokerage has great materials too, great. But our specific materials are built to instill that confidence in you, the agent, and the seller, that you're actually not just going to market their home, but get it sold, like Ed and Tina say.
Wow. Okay. I just been writing like notes left and right here, but there's a lot of stuff out of this, guys. The past 50 minutes has been loaded down with really how-tos of how to get your expired system and processes started. And so obviously there's so much more content we can share. I get tickled every time I look through the chat, because I see cool ideas and stuff, and people just, I love it, because we already have probably our next couple workshops planned out from this chat alone, talking about, you know, cold calling scripts, or I love force of owners. You can't get me started on that one, and I won't get off that one for a while. But there's so many more topics, guys, that we're going to be diving into during these sessions. So feel free to be sure to bookmark these this Zoom registration, so you can keep getting on these every single month, and we'll learn from each other. And so I think that's really what it's about. All right, guys. So that's a lot of stuff we just shared. To wrap things up, who's got questions? We will definitely got any kind of expired listing question or expired question you have in the chat.
I see some questions.
Lay it on us. Go.
Somebody asked what my frequency is of mailing for that longer term. It's kind of a long thing. If you just want to follow on my Instagram account at Janie C, JANIEC for Coffey, I have a broadcast channel all about expired luxury listings. And if you want to just follow that broadcast channel, I actually believe I have a screenshot in there of what that is. You can also reach out to me individually. Very cool. What type of gift do you take? I don't know who that was directed to, but I don't know gifts wise.
I haven't even thought of that yet.
You are a gift to them, because you're going to sell their home, guys. You're a gift.
We brought ourselves. Help is on the way. Here we are.
Let me see if I can grab any other thing that came through
We
here.
have done candles, like we've done branded candles and little things like that, like leave behinds. We've actually brought flowers. We've sent gifts after the appointment to really make a big impact. So
I
just
see
love
a
that.
question in there, out of 1,000, what percent of people would respond to direct mail? I've been listening to a really great marketer, and he brought up a very interesting comment where he had this great idea. He put out 500 mailers and he got no response. And he called his mentor and said, "How many did you put out?" And he said, 500. He goes, "Well, you should have put out 5,000 and you should have done it every day." 5,000 a day. So his mentor is saying you should have done 5,000 a day for 30 days straight and then tell me you got a problem. So the most common thing I hear from agents who are not having success is they try something once and it doesn't work. They call an expired listing and they get yelled at, or they send out a mailer and nothing happens. So it's about long-term consistency and quantity. But if you go on a lot of expired listings, the one thing I really love to see is the pile of crap they receive from realtors, and it's big. So just understand, if you're mailing a postcard, it's one of 100 or 200, and there's packages and FedEx envelopes, and who knows what they're opening. Some open everything, some open nothing. Some people throw it all away. Some people read everything. You don't know who's going to do what, but I think Janie probably is the most consistent in sending another piece and another piece and another piece, and then that gets noticed. If you're going to send one time to expired, is not gonna you're gonna have success.
That's exactly what gets noticed.
Yeah,
I love it. Good stuff, guys. There's so much in here. I think he was talking about postcards, guys. Sending the postcards consistently. That was the real big element there. I think he shared was one time is not going to cut it, right? Like if I sent you one email, you're probably going to ignore that email. But if I sent you 50 emails over 50 days, you probably going to reply to me and say, "Leave me the frig alone." Or you're going to actually take action on something I offered, right? And I think that's the real big stopper key on those. Tina, go ahead.
I just want to say this because I am, again, I want to get into doing the mailers. And I think the way Janie and Wendy were doing them, they're sending right to the expired and more like bigger packages. We were sending these out, which are, $1 each through Real Marketing. We did it for a year and it's $4,000 a month is what we were spending. So we got 2 listings in 1 year from this. Now, for me, if this was the only thing I was doing, number one, really, it gets expensive and I decided to go all in on it. But to me, I can take 10 listings a month knowing that I can pick up the phone and I have control of the outcome because I know if I make 15 conversations, I'm going to get a listing that can be anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000. I still think this is going to work. I think we were not doing it correctly, but we were only doing this once a month. And I feel like a postcard is not going to get as much excitement versus this 4-pager. So I'm going to have to get with Janie so she can fix me because.
Well, I just want to say there's a difference between direct mail to a farm, which you are talking about and what Ed is talking about, and targeted specific content specific for that recipient.
Agreed.
And that's what I was doing. Very, very different. So my response rate is a lot higher. My list rate is a lot higher because it is and that's why I talked about lifestyle niches. If you have a lifestyle niche that you build out to, and people are getting that, they're even much more likely to contact you.
Yeah. And I think we need work on that. So you're going to help me do that, Janie. So I can be your next.
You and me, Tina, we're at it.
I love it, guys.
Inspiration. I can't believe I'm on a call with you.
I saw something in the chat. Remind me a story about how consistency works. And there was a study that was done about calling a neighborhood and asking who is the most successful real estate agent you know. And the first survey that went out, it was random people. They probably weren't the greatest agent in that marketplace, but people really didn't know. And they had 6, 7, 8 different answers of who the realtor was. Then some no name, not even a real estate agent, does a mailing campaign 8 times in that same neighborhood. They call the same neighborhood and who's the best expert real estate agent in your market. And that name came up multiple times over and over again. And they've never sold a house. Never sold a house. So it's the consistency for those that are saying, hey, I've never sold a luxury home, and how do I walk in and get my first one? Be consistent, do it a lot, and then use the success of eXp luxury agents around the nation. Pay attention to what we're selling, and you can say, hey, we did this. We just talk in the form of we. Our company is experts in LA and Miami and Chicago and your neighborhood, and find success around you that's happening in your marketplace with your company, because we are all one company at eXp. That's the unique thing about us as a brokerage.
Love it. I got one thing to share, guys, before we hop off. This is a target expired listings marketing strategy plan that one of our amazing marketing people put together. I'm going to put this on the screen so you guys can grab the QR code if you want it. Hopefully you guys can see that. Hopefully. Sometimes the screens are all wonky. But if you want to grab that screenshot, this is a cool little target expired listings packet, guys, to help you get started. So feel free to go ahead and grab that. We'll also send this link out as well in the replay for those that attended this workshop. Probably gets that out tomorrow if we can. But anything else we want to share about, guys, before we kind of close this session out?
Jeremy, can you make sure to save the chat in the questions section, because there was a lot of questions in there, so that we can maybe make a typed up Q&A. I can't save it because I'm not the.
No, I can actually export all the comments and all that stuff. So we'll get that afterwards for sure. Absolutely. Thanks for the reminder.
There's a lot
all right, guys. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I said there's a lot of great questions.
There's a lot. All right, guys. I'm going to try to copy all these down. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, one more thing. I don't know who you all invited, Jeremy. I just want to say, if you're not a part of eXp Luxury, it's probably the least expensive thing you can join that can elevate your business at $2,500. So I thought that would be fair to mention.
I love it, man. Appreciate you, bud. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for attending. Thanks you guys for joining in. Thanks for listening. Panelists, you guys are amazing. Thank you guys for sharing your wealth of knowledge. I think that's how you grow, is hear from people that are doing it and getting advice and tweaking it to make it their own. And so rock it, guys. Go out there, get some luxury expired listings. Don't be scared.
And then tell us about them.
Yeah.
So you can be the next Wendy.
I love it. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. We were going to close out. Have a good one.
Yeah. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.